a valuable source of the important omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Each teaspoon provides a full 1,600 milligrams of omega-3s. And its purity is guaranteed. Try it on salads and popcorn. It tastes like lemon, not fishy. Ask for Carlson, the very finest fish oil, at finer health food stores today.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Lots of people going to have fun this week. And if you're having fun this week, we want to know about it. Where are you doing it at? What are you going to have fun doing? And are you doing with family and or yourself and or friends? We want to know. I will say this. I saw a very interesting, which is something we've been talking about, but we've been trying to talk about less because, I like to talk about fun, not all the dreaded, whatever you want to call it now, the thing we all hate to talk about ever since 2020. But I saw a report that recently came in, and I was like, wait, what's going on there? And it was a very quick one, and it was a warning that in the next few weeks we may have a mandate again. Yay, we're back to that because we're not ahead of it, like I said. It's like one thing after another. It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the reason that it's being seen as that evidently is because there are so many things happening. The hospitalizations are up and they're at a critical high. When they're at a high, basically that means usually a lockdown. But that's the situation right now that they're actually looking at. So they're saying, okay, what will happen? What are people going to do? And what are we going to do next, right? So that's kind of the question of the day. We'll see what happens next, and we'll see what goes on around the corner. We got Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
We're going to continue.
Good morning.
All right. Is that my audio or your audio? Do you hear that audio?
Where they can defend themselves.
I don't know.
Thank you all so very much.
Okay, sounds like there's a report. Okay, it's on my end. Sorry about that. Evidently, President Biden's taking questions from reporters right now on the May jobs report. And he's going and saying that there's a lot of things happening. And, of course, we're going to see some positive things, even though I say it's basically all not so positive. But speaking of which, somebody is very positive, and he's doing some stuff over in the area of Vegas. And I will say this. I almost went to Vegas recently with him. And I should have, because he's having a lot of fun. He's posting it all on his social media. And because he is, everybody's enjoying his posts. If you're not following him, follow him right now. There's a lot of things going on. Again, NAM is everything and then some. We got Jose Yoa here with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Hey, good morning. It's one of those mornings you wake up so refreshed and you don't know where you are. In California, after celebrating Media Day and what they call the National Association of Music Merchants, known as NAM 2022. Think about this. Geeks who know their stuff with everything in music. And then you get a VIP bill, and then you get parties, and you get rockers. And, it's just happening this weekend here in Anaheim. And I feel like I'm in what's that movie in Las Vegas where you wake up with your media badges on, and then you don't know how you got into your Mickey Mouse pajamas. And, it's one of those weekends where we're just having fun. But, it's all changing. The music industry is changing. A lot of women, are participating now in all aspects and skilled in front of the camera, behind the camera. And, last night I attended the She Rock Awards. Fascinating for me because, this one woman that everybody focused in the rock and roll world, and then she was the front runner. But now there's so many women in the industry, and we're also talking about a big change in the industry. We're talking about 4D. What is 4D? Well, talk about OnlyFans. Well, they got a glimpse of it in 2D. Now imagine 4D is metaverse. Now people say, what is metaverse? Well, I put a little link up there with just a little explanation of what it is in one of the companies that's beginning to process this whole area of 4D, a 4D metaverse, and it's called 4D Fund. And the ability for the average person to do a concert or use the metaverse universe, which is a virtual artificial, what they call living room or whatever you want it to be, to invite people, fans, to experience you in 360, which is weird and fascinating. It's one of those things that I would just putting on those goggles. As you know, a generation of gamers have come of age. You know, these people, or I should say, these young children began with these, what they look like ski masks, but very thick and kind of bulky, made by two companies, and you all know them, Google and Facebook, and they have their brands. But the ability to put these goggles on and experience in a 3D, four-dimensional world, everything or anything that you'd like to present, and being able to monetize it. And guess what they're using to monetize it with? Blockchain, crypto technology. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is, and I think for the people kind of like going, wait, what? Because it's interesting. I saw some of the photos you sent me, and evidently, you know, when you think 4D, you think, okay, you think 3D, then 4D is kind of like I'm thinking of like rides, you know, that you would usually do like at Disneyland, you know, with like Bugs Adventure, and they would do 4D. Is it like that, or is it something entirely different? Because I'm still I'm having a hard time like understanding what this means for the like end user. So are they able to have like a virtual reality, you know, like how does that work?
Well, they world, as you know, concerts are going, well, pretty much out of style, not because the performer wants to do them, it's because technology in the concert, as soon as they perform, well, it's already up on YouTube. So they have to find a new medium to present themselves so they can world in a virtual world and do a concert that's up close. But the fun thing about this concert is you get to see the artist play guitar right up front. You can get the view from the artist back towards the fan. So by manipulating your laptop or whatever you're using device for that moment, and you need these goggles to give you that experience. That's what's fascinating about this technology. And normally it's used, like I say, in the gaming world right now. So if you're clearly, because right now you're playing Call of Duty or whatever game you play internationally around the world with a lot of other people. And it's the same experience, but now in a adult world where the entertainer and you and are intimate. And the fun thing about that is the monetizing comes to you, and there's sort of no middlemen, but it's and you have also the rights, digital rights, and so they're not.
I'm starting to understand. I'm looking at the site for those of you. Sorry, you're breaking up a little. I don't know what's going on with the internet there. But 4dfun.io is the place that you can actually take a look at there. And we're kind of losing you there. Are you there with us, Jose? Jose? All right, looks like we're having problems with our internet with him. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with Jose Ulloa. We'll hopefully get his internet working good, and we'll be right back with him and more right after these messages. Again, it's all about NAMM, the music show of the year. So we'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, hdrinfo.com.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
new teen driver in the family? Just bought your first home? Have a new bundle of joy? Every life change matters, and by reviewing your insurance policy with Little & Sons Insurance Services, you could be benefiting with big savings. Little & Sons Insurance Services, a family-owned insurance agency who values the old-fashioned way of doing business. They work for you, not an insurance company, meaning your best interests are at heart. They can custom tailor your policy based on specific needs at a price you can afford. Home, auto, or business, you're covered. Call 1-844-9-LITTLE. That's 1-844-9-LITTLE, or go online to little, the letter N, sons.com. That's littlensons.com.
La Michoacana El Rodeo, your local ice cream parlor. You scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream. La Michoacana serves banana splits, milkshakes, smoothies, and a variety of homemade ice cream and natural fruit flavored popsicles. La Michoacana is open until 11 p.m. and is located in the Palm Plaza on 6th Street in Beaumont and on West Ramsey Street in Banning. La Michoacana's menu includes acai bowls, fruit salads, corn on the cob, and their famous mouth-watering manzanada treat to cool you down. Y arriba, Michoacan!
The staff and families at Custom Care Solutions caregivers take this time out to recognize and salute the Palm Desert men and women in uniform, standing tall for our political and economic freedoms around the world. Let's always remember them in our thoughts and prayers. Their efforts abroad and our support have kept America strong. That message was courtesy of your good friends at Custom Care Solutions caregivers, 4220 in Palm Desert. They're always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We got Jose with a little bit better of service over there. Again, it's all about the NAMM show, and it's happening, and a lot of people are learning the business of the world of entertainment, and rightly so. Jose, so I know you're talking about fun over there. What kind of awesome things also are ahead of the corner?
Well, we're looking at geeks who are skilled not only with the instrument, but making the instruments too, and giving you insights to hidden secrets about the things that they're building. That's what makes this what they call National Association of Music Merchants, which pretty much sounds like a cell, but really it's a place where fans come together. You have people who are skilled that like to jam on their guitar or drums or things of that nature. We're talking about technology now, from those big box amplifiers that most musicians used to carry to their gigs. Well, now it's what they call 4x4, Bluetooth, monitor feedback, and rechargeable. So you're finding things that are very practical for the average musician to reach out and use technology in a way that's more simple for them in this time and age. And then it's all internet ready. So if you want to learn how to play the guitar, well, it comes with the amp. It shows you the strings. It shows you what you want to do, or whatever instrument you want to play. So there's no need, once again, to be looking for these things out in the open and getting recommendations, because once again, AI is coming in with artificial technology that's really embellishing. And I think that's the trend here, is how to make it simple for the average consumer and also smaller, because, it's just like the movie in El Mariachi. And if you remember the movie where he walks into the cantina and says he wants to play the gig, and they ask him, well, where's your group? And he just pulls out his piano, and the next thing you know, he's got a whole band playing. But yeah, the music world is changing. A lot of smash-ups coming to you. What does a smash-up mean? You got classical artists, you got rockers, and you got women, and you got everybody else, just adding to a mix of what they call a cacophony, using one of those musical terms, of just great fun in this industry if you're a music fanatic. Because if you don't like music, well, you just can't dance, or you just can't sleep, or, it just wants to get up and you want to get going because you've heard your favorite song. So that's what this convention is all about. And yes, there's a lot of parties, and She-Rock awards were last night given out. Diane Warwick was featured this year as an honoree, and a lot more, because women have changed this industry. So get ready. If you haven't got a pair of those goggles, well, you might look between the two brands, because it's changing the industry as well as this ability to, well, you, the average person, karaoke singer, or maybe you just love playing a trumpet or playing the drums, you can teach people in a metaverse where it's up close and 360. So that's what's happening, and that's what makes it fun. Beyond the parties and beyond the celebrities, I would call it more of a geek festival because the celebrities flock to the geeks.
Yeah. Well, it's the fun fest of the day. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I think I said this because I'm looking at nam.org right now, and this is not happening in Vegas like I thought. Where is it happening?
It's in Anaheim. It's in Anaheim, and yes, it does move around, and it's one of those things that that these industry have these big conventions, just like Comic-Con, and you just like CES, and all these conventions that have been dormant for 2 years. NAMM comes back in, half its size, but you know what? With a powerful punch, new technology, and a lot of fresh vendors that are willing to go the extra mile with you and take that time. Because I could have stayed with 4D Fun the whole day, just with the goggles on it and learning the technology and say, how can I use it just as a reporter and create my own universe? Because we're moving into that NFTs and metaverse where people are selling real estate. A lot of the musicians are beginning to try out, famous musicians are beginning to try out this universe as a concert venue, or a comedian. These things have now been available to you through, a backbone of servers, which is relatively cheap, and you own it all. So that's the end result. You own it all, and nobody can take it away from you because blockchain technology, a little of that crypto stuff, it just gives you finally an advantage. And that's why RD Fun is one of those companies that I enjoy. I'm going to put up the link. And you know what? For our viewers, they're going to have a special VIP for people to try it out. And they're going to put some things online. And I'm going to give you that code. It's pretty much nothing to see now. It's going to be the code. But I will put the link on there for you. And then you can try this experiment, because there's nothing like talking about it and doing it and feeling this immersive metaverse. It's here, and in 5 years you're going to say, why didn't I invest? Why am I not doing metaverse? And it applies to all genres beyond music.
Yeah, if anything, I guess the way to make sense to people is, we talked about NFTs the other day, and I say, kind of be careful when you sell like your own, like your painting, or your, something on, because I always go with the hard thing that you can touch, right? Which is, the actual, sorry, we had a reset here. But again, you can check it out, 4dfun.inc on Instagram, and check out all the great stuff. Well, my point is, real estate, virtual real estate is kind of where it's at, and that kind of goes back to the day of Second Life, which was a very interesting game, which a lot of people participated in, and now everybody else is kind of like, well, how can we make money at it? And if you go back to Second Life, a lot of people actually made money in Second Life. They kind of built up kind of like a world of their own, and then sometimes they would sell it. And other people kind of live in that space, if that makes sense. Because once you put on the goggles, you kind of go to that area and you kind of live it. But I wonder how many years into the future that's going to be a thing. Because I would think people would want to create their own thing. But I don't really know. I know advertisers were taking off because they wanted brand recognition, and so they were paying into it because it would be like, okay, if you're going to live in the verse, so to speak, of goggles, right? Which, again, I don't know how long you could live I think one guy did it for 3 days straight, and at the end of it, he's like, oh my God, I need to be back with humans. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of a good thing, but I think the streaming thing is really good for events because it kind of takes it to something where you're in a room with everyone else, and you're not away from everyone, which I think, again, for the world right now, is kind of where we're going. I don't know if you heard, but recently here in L.A., they're talking about a mask mandate because hospitals are at an all-time high right now, and now we're in a really bad situation with that. So I think people are going to have more time, maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, to want to be at home and watch these immersive experiences. What do you think?
Well, we have a generation before us that's lived and only knows this. So that's a reality. So you can't put your cultural appropriation on it because you grew up in a different genre industry of rock bands, hair, fashion being there, the smell of an arena. So it's easy to just culturally put your opinions on this. But just 3 blocks away from my house, think about it, Bored and Hungry, the first restaurant using NFT, and the line is packed. It's only open 2 weeks, and there's a line going around the block. And it's only here in my neighborhood. And the other one is in New York, basically taking the theme of one of these pictures, like you said, and using it as part of their restaurant theme here in Long Beach. So, yes, it's time it's come. It's not an end all. It's just another avenue, and particularly for a generation. That's why we have to think of the generations that are coming behind us, is that that's all they know.
Yeah.
And they're also looking towards the rockers and things of the sort from a human experience, because we're seeing a lot of small bands come back in smaller venues and parks and venues that are here in Southern California and across the country that are giving these younger fans who are, once again, immersed in this virtual world, real life experience, what they enjoy, being outdoors and the music and their camaraderie. So it's a what they call a smash up time in the industry, whether you're getting an award from being a woman and or else creating new venues of electronics for another generation. And yes, this is going to be something that's going to take it another step in the right direction for the industry for a new generation. And the great thing about it is the bigger companies are backing it up. So as they say in Wall Street, follow the money.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
You're not into metaverse, follow the money, because you're going to see this industry explode, just like drones were, well, not that popular 10, 15 years ago, and I have the original first drone. Today, they're like normal. So, yes, that's how it happens. And the same thing, how we jumped from, back in the day from your pager, and then you went to that big giant phone and a flip phone. And now we have these little small phones that can pretty much do everything and immerse you into different worlds and keep you in business. So that's what's so exciting. And companies like say 40 Fun, hey, they're beginning, and there's a lot more in the industry. So join it, pick up a pair of goggles. You're going to love the experience. And we're going to put up that link. So all the followers right here on your radio channel, ABC News Radio KMET, are going to have, sneak peek of what it is to be in Metaverse.
That'll be exciting. We'll repost it at the KMET website, especially if you tweet it out. And I do want to show this again for people that are in the industry. Jose got a first peek at what is going to happen for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. You can get tickets at nam.org. It's all right there. Again, uniting the music, sound, and entertainment technology communities. And I will say this, usually people have to travel to Vegas for this. I don't know that NAM has been here in our local neighborhood for quite some time, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, if you're in the music industry, it's sort of the mecca. It's a place to go to learn, to meet, to network, and it's just kind of refreshing. At the end of the night, you end up sleeping in your pants and your badges and glasses and Mickey Mouse pajamas, and you don't know how you got there. Well, you don't have to post it because it was fun. And today is day one of the regular NAM conference, and we have 3 days of just enjoying an experience. And at night, the party continues. As they say, rock on.
Yeah, you know what? I love your fun right there, and I will say this again: it is fun to meet all the rockers, the people that are there, the music people. I know Disney's there, obviously being in Anaheim, so they're kind of making a big push as well. The Disneyland band opened at the NAMM show. Anything dealing with music and or equipment and or like technology is basically in Anaheim right now. So if you're gonna see, like some hairdos or some rockers like of the 80s, you're gonna see basically people attending. Then you're gonna have people like in suits and then other stuff, and they're all mixing because it's all about business. You don't go to NAMM and don't do business, right?
That is true. And we're gonna cap it off on Sunday. They call it Salsa Sunsets. And we're going to dance to music on the beach. If you don't like geeking out with all the other business stuff, well, we're going to do Salsa Sunset to close out NAM right here in Long Beach. Can you believe that? And enjoy a moment with a sunset and dancing for 3 hours from 5 to 8. And I'll put that link up for people who want to join us on Sunday.
All right, so keep it coming. We'll repost it, get the word out. Thank you so very much again, Jose, for keeping us in the know of the fun of song and music and everything else.
Well, metaverse, it's going to be a very popular word pretty soon. But hey, check it out on your phone, get some goggles, and the rest, it's up to you.
Okay, thank you, Jose. All right, more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Does shame, guilt, and martyrdom play a part in holding ourselves back from self-love, self-confidence, self-empowerment? Ambika Waters is back. With over 3 million books sold, she offers her 28th, Releasing Shame, Guilt, and Martyrdom. Her body of work includes training programs held in Europe and North America, where she connects her participants to the realms of angels, the importance of chakras, the healing power of color and sound. Ambika Waters, the journey that she has been on, the renowned teacher, artist, and healer, has brought a lifetime of experience to her newest book, Releasing Shame, Guilt, and Martyrdom. How to reframe the past, release your future. The guide to expanding our capacity for unlimited goodness. AmbikaWaters.com. Amazon.com. Love, love, love.
World-renowned psychologist, relationship expert, and best-selling author Dr. Carmen Hara hosts Live Now every Friday morning at 9 o'clock on Smart Talk Radio. Dr. Hara offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Experience your own positive transformation as Dr. Hara personally guides you to the answers that you have been seeking. Live Now with Dr. Carmen Hara, every Friday morning at 9 o'clock Pacific Time on KMET Radio, podcast by SoundCloud.
Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions is now Beaumont Pharmacy with a new location at the Sundance Corporate Center. That's at the corner of Highland Springs and 8th in Suite 110. Of course, they still have Pack-Your-Meds. No more counting out the pills, dropping them on the floor. Oh, what a mess. And they have a full selection of pharmaceutical CBD. Wheelchairs, over-the-counter meds, you name it, they've got it. So if you're looking for the best and you want the best pharmacy, you go to Beaumont Pharmacy at their new location, 835 North Highland Springs, Beaumont Avenue in Beaumont, California, Suite 110. Give them a call, 951-845-8252.
Summer's almost here, and you know what that means. Sunny days and hot temperatures that make you want to stay inside. Franklin Mechanical Systems can repair or replace your air conditioning unit to get it working before the heat hits. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems is the one for all your residential and commercial air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000 and get cool today.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you. Again, it is happening this weekend, the 3rd through the 5th. NAM is the big show of the year. And again, like I said, it's usually in Vegas, so we have a special opportunity to go check it out. Again, do so safely. There is information coming in, and at least it's like an awareness of why we're going to that possibility soon. And I will say this, it's weird because in 2020, when the summer hit, the virus was kind of at an all-time low. If you look at the numbers, it like peaked, I think, in May, and then June and July kind of tapered off, and then in August it kind of went a little low, and then in September and October it started to peak a little, but it really peaked after November, and we all know what happened there. You had Halloween, you had Thanksgiving, you had the December, which was the worst December of the year, and then everybody was like, oh no. Plus lockdown was like extreme, right? Everybody remembers like certain streets completely void of anyone in it. It was easy to get to work. It was easy to get to where you got to go, like literally within minutes. And in LA, that's something that's kind of, a big thing. But here's the latest headline. LA County could bring back indoor mask mandate if numbers keep going up. The mask mandate in LA, and I don't know about other cities, but I'm sure it'll happen there as well, will return if hospitalization increases continue apace. Now, I'm going to say this, and people are going to disagree, and I get it, and some may agree, and I hope you do, but, usually people disagree with what I say on the show. You should do it already, because the fact is the county has already moved into what they call the high category within just a few weeks. They have repeated that the numbers are up when it comes to the virus, and especially hospitalizations. There were a total of 524 COVID positive patients in hospitals just yesterday. That's up from 502 a day earlier. The number of patients at which the mandate would be triggered is about 1,000. In other words, when we go up to 1,000, then they're going to mandate again. But again, the mandate of the mask is not the thing that you should be mandating, because if people are getting sick like this and they're getting in the hospitals, and the hospitals are basically getting kind of like extreme again, and they're coming back at full capacity, and then they got to be intubated, they got to be in the ICU beds. How many beds do we have for that? Again, are we going to lose more people? We already lost 1 million people in the U.S. alone just due to COVID, and that's just the COVID numbers. Even if you say the numbers are off a little, 3 to 5% maybe, but you still have more than you ever thought. I had this conversation yesterday about, it was the day before, with Pasadena, the city of Pasadena. Somebody kind of going door to door, and I'm not going to lie, Jesse, it was a very telling situation because a lot of the businesses were closed. I wanted to take my mom to a very safe environment known as Tokyo Wacko in Pasadena. And anybody that knows that they have think Benihana, and you got, pretty much what Tokyo Wacko was, but they're closed. And then the theater right there, and again, Pasadena is a very booming city, but it basically looks, and I hate to say this because I know Detroit's going to be like, you don't have any idea what it's like here, but Detroit used to be booming, and now Detroit's not looked at as anything good, right, Jesse?
I know nothing about Detroit other than, I only hear negative things. I've yet to hear one positive thing about Detroit.
Yeah, but it used to be, the vehicle capital of the world. People used to Detroit, Michigan wasn't that bad of a thing. It was a slow road to that, especially after the big, bailout that they called it. But it was basically, things that happened during the recession, right, of 2008. We rebounded from it. We got ahead of it, and then numbers went up since then. But the city suffers. So back to that. So I was in Pasadena, and I was talking to somebody who gave me a pamphlet, and she was going business to business, and she was saying, look, we need to increase the minimum wage, and they were kind of going for about 16, right? It was 16. But I said, at the math that everybody's at right now, it should be 18 right now. Nobody believes me, but if you just simple equation. Yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, I filled up my gas with $40 of gas, right? That's normal. It's a little hatchback. It's a Toyota Corolla. It's a fun ride, right? Normally, that would take me all the way to the end of the full category. I already had maybe less than a quarter in my gas tank, right? It didn't go all the way full, and I was like, huh. And then I had to travel, and then I got back, and I'm like, huh. And I thought, wait a minute. Because minimum, by the way, Jesse, you know that report that we reported on where it was an all-time high at $9 in LA? They reduced it $1 after it came out at the media.
Wow.
Yeah.
That still doesn't help, but yeah.
But that's called somebody's taking advantage of the situation, right? Because they got called out, they reduced it $1, right? So we had to throw that up for you guys that watch pretty regularly. You know what I'm talking about, with our good friend Viviana Sarade, who actually posted that. But okay, so my point is this. Everybody else is paying about $6, $6 and some change here in LA. Now I know some of you are from around the nation and some around the world. But the question I have is this: how long is it going to be that? And then we go, okay, I just can't spend money on anything else, because you're basically, in order to go anywhere, you got to put money in your vehicle, but you got maintenance, you got, oil change, you got, wash, like a car wash. People were all at the car wash getting ready for the weekend, I think, but now you got to save money for where you got to go, and at the all-time high of $6, it's kind of like, okay, where is this money going to come from? So Pasadena, at least this lady was pushing for like an increase. But like she said, she goes, when I go to the businesses, they're like, please don't come in here. We could barely pay our bills. Why do we want to pay more money to our employees when we can't even get more customers in the shops? So at the Paseo, which is one of the best places I've ever like known and or loved, where I've seen a lot of actors, a lot of celebrity, a lot of like what they call old money in Pasadena. Basically, the only shop that's open for anybody that knows there is Yard House, and even they're hurting. Islands is gone. Let's see. Cold Stone Creamery is gone. The theater is gone, which usually has plenty of people in it. But there's other theaters that are doing really well. So I'm like, what is going on here? Now, did they increase the rates or the prices? I would say yes, because I have a friend who used to have a, like whenever you get your hair done, you have a hairstylist, right? And they usually have to pay for, the space, right? Like, kind of like rent, right?
Okay. Where are you going with this?
Well, imagine for a minute your hairstylist has to go basically away from her best business because they want to increase the rent. That happened in 2021, by the way. And I remember her telling me this. So she said, you know what? I'm going to basically do it another way. I got to move location. I just can't pay the rent. The people here can't pay the rent. And we just don't have enough money because we've been in lockdown for so long, right? But all of a sudden, the landlord's like, okay, we're going to increase the rent like a lot. And they're like, we could barely pay the past rent. So she had the very difficult like situation to say, all right, let me go ahead and just, maybe move my location. So she moved it east. But Pasadena is a very like bubbly city, right? It's a lot of money. Everybody thinks like, what's that song? What's the one about the lady in the car? Pasadena, right? Dun, 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 dun.
No, I have no idea.
It's that song, the Pasadena. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
No, I don't know.
Okay, got it. All right, whatever. So my point is this. In Pasadena, there is a lot of money to be made, but it looks like Detroit, Michigan, like the beginnings of it. And it looks like it's going down that path. Okay, everybody knows the San Bernardino area, right? And then certain areas where I guess used to be like really like a lot of people say, yeah, you don't remember when the San Bernardino Carousel Mall used to be like a place to go. It's no longer that. It's like a oasis of just blah, right? You could do like a zombie apocalypse inside and you'd believe it because they have like a little. You've never been to the Carousel Mall?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right off the 10 and the it's when you go west, because you're in Riverside, so it's in San Bernardino. It's when you go west, and it's definitely before you hit the 15. And so what freeway is that? I can't think of it. But anyway, it used to be a really nice mall, but lately it's like an area you don't want to be around. There's a lot of people that are basically taking drugs. There's like meth addicts. There's heroin addicts. It's just terrible. And it got bought over by the city, and the city ran it. But that's the problem. The city's running things that they shouldn't be running. They need to keep it as regular. Well, that's a question. People go, why does a city buy a mall? But it went downhill the moment they did. If they can't even run a city, what makes you think they're going to run a mall?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at these pictures. Yeah, wow, that's horrifying. I've never been here. I've never even heard of this place before.
Yeah, it's where I used to broadcast out of at another station, but they moved out finally. But honestly, they were having trouble paying their bills because nobody was at the mall. So it was like, they were like, we need more broadcasters, right? And it was cool because it was like a shopping, think like, okay, like we have a lot of malls. I don't know what mall you go to, but like over here we have the Montebello Mall. And like right next to like where you shop, you would see the shopping, and then you would see like you in the window, which I think is kind of cool to be like, doing your thing. And so you'd be like waving at the fans, they'd be taking pictures of you. And sometimes like, I always say like, have the actors or the writers or the producers or the fun people like in the window somewhat. So people could see, whoa, like that, you know what I mean? Like they used to do on certain television shows. I know they do it like, people, nobody watches television anymore. It's weird. But okay, back in the day, like if you watch it, some people are like, no, I used to watch Matt Lauer, right? Remember that? Where they used to be in the window, be like, yeah, I'm here in New York. And you don't remember that? You never saw that? Good Morning America.
No, I didn't watch that. I never watched that show.
Oh, well, it's still on, but that's what they do in the window. They kind of like, so the background like fun, then they hold signs like, it's just fun. Like people are like, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so the closest thing I can recall for something like that was in the days I used to watch MTV, and it was like Total Request Live or something.
TRL, yeah, same thing, yeah.
God, I'm old.
but that's what I like. Like, nobody understands. Jesse's in a bunker, okay? He's all by himself. But if he were like in a mall setting like this, it would be fun. But my point is this: the mall went downhill. Anybody that knows San Bernardino Mall and is in our listening audience, what's that, Jesse?
No, I'm here alone. I should have like some sock puppets to entertain myself while I'm here.
I know. I loved it when you had your little dog there. Okay, so my point is this, people. Don't let Pasadena fall like every other city, because Pasadena is supposed to be a bum. This is my point. Leaders in the government are doing the worst service of all. Okay, there is business in LA. I go down there and all the shops are open. All right. People are able to pay their bills there because people are visiting LA. But I had a moment with this lady, and I said, okay, in order to get the minimum wage up, you got to have spending up, right? And they got to be able to pay their bills. How do we get there? And she's like, I don't know, but, nobody wants to listen to me. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But the rate that we're going, we need to increase it at least $18. And right now the minimum wage, I think, is 15 some, right? And some go, no, that's plenty of money. I go, Go back to gas, go back to rent, and go back to people raising prices all of a sudden. Why are we doing that? We should actually go back to the way it was in 2020. How does it increase in just 2 years' time? You would think like 30 years passed. You know what? I'm gonna say that from now on so people get it. If 30 years passed, do the math of the last 30 years prior to 2020, then you would understand why prices were up in time, right? And nobody understands why prices go up. They never go down. The reason they go up, it's called inflation, but it's called interest. In order to pay interest, things go up incrementally. That's why in some countries, it's not $1 anymore. It's like 1,000 rupees, for 50 cents. You know what I mean? I don't know the conversion, but in certain countries like China and like India and other areas, the numbers are way up, right? But when did they start? Maybe at $1 or just a 1. When did they get to 1 million, right? 1 million is like, you go, wow, 1 million, whatever that is. And then, but, you go to the country, you're like, well, that's a lot of money. They're like, dude, that's 50 cents. You know what I mean? It's like the pesos, right? Like the currency, basically the U.S. is a young currency model. Okay, that's what people don't understand. So when you start young, it's always going to go up through time. That's where people profit. They go, okay, take advantage of profiting. But that's why whenever you lend money, you want to get anywhere from minimum 8 to 12% if you're investing your own money. But that's why creditors make a lot more money, because they charge up the wazoo, up to 28%, right, on average. Anywhere from 23 to 24% was kind of the average before, but you go, okay, we got more risk with you because you're not a good, but we'll give you some money, but you're going to pay more in the end, so expect to pay more. That's why nobody wants debt right now, but everybody's got to have debt in order to put food on the table. So it's a cycle that we're just people are not ahead of it, and we need to be ahead of it because these things need to add up. And I said, watch our morning show. We talk about these things. We educate the public. We hope that people understand, and those that are understanding are saying, I'm not going to spend money where I don't need to. I'm going to save the money. I'm going to save it for my family, and I'm going to budget. Okay, we need to be back in budget mode. I know we're going into summer again, but again, with these warnings coming up, it's like, well, what? And I know a lot of people are like, wait, no, we're ahead of COVID. I'm like, huh? And then others like, no, COVID doesn't even exist. I'm like, have you not buried anybody? I keep going back to that. I buried way too many people, and too many people are getting sick. I saw a couple people, and I guess it's because we have so many people on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram that, it's just kind of like, I got about 15,000 on Facebook. I got several accounts, like I say, and my Facebook fan page, which has about 28,000. So I sometimes see some of your posts, and I see them from people I've never met, because I get a lot of people adding me, and sometimes, they get added by friends, or they share our show, and then they add, or they follow, like we say, follow us. You follow Jesse, by the way, at where, Jesse?
I am Jesse Sanchez.
Yeah, there you go. So you follow him there, and you follow me at Aaron M. Sanchez on all platforms. What were we going to say?
No, I said I'm easy to find.
Yeah, and that's what we want to be. We want to be easy to find. But sometimes we look at your stuff, and we're like, whoa, that person has COVID, that person has COVID, that person has COVID. You know, we kind of like, you know, just, you know, in our little like moments of time where we're kind of like take a break. Okay, what's, you know, and we never know, you know, what Facebook's going to serve us in the form of, you know, usually 3 or 4 friends at a time. I don't go through all of my feed, but, you know, whatever pops up, Facebook kind of decides that. So I kind of lose touch with others, and then all of a sudden I find out they're dead. Right? And I'm like, what happened? Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, you know, or I go, I haven't seen that person post in a while. And then you check in on them and you don't see anybody posting anything. And then you see on their post, so-and-so passed away, this and that. I'm like, so I'm going to say this really quick, okay? There's such a thing as legacy account, okay? And what you need to do is go into your Facebook account, because I think a lot of people are getting embarrassed. And I'm going to tell you the truth. When you get into Facebook, you have a login. Well, if you're single and you have a login, you have messages there, right?
Yes.
Who else has access to your account when you die?
Facebook.
And your family members, because they find your password, they log in on your account, and all of a sudden they read all your private messages. Now, everybody knows your private life after you die.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is wipe your emails before you pass and have someone clean out your internet browser. Gotcha.
You got it, Jesse. Prepare for people to know what you did in your off time when you are dead. Yeah, I had a conversation with a person. I said, you know, there's a way to do it, and you actually put it in your Facebook. It's kind of like your will and testament, okay? Some people like their life private, right? Some kids are finding out some stuff they didn't know about their parents. Some parents are finding some stuff out about, you know, their grandparents, you know, on social media. So there's a way, at least Facebook has it, where when you die, you could have it go into legacy accounts so people can actually post on your profile, but all your stuff is private. So basically it goes bye-bye over time. Now, you are right. Technically, Facebook still has access to it. But again, people are freaking out on social media. They're going, wait, what? Yeah, it's a thing. And people don't, you know, sometimes you think, how am I going to be remembered? You'll be remembered as that person, especially if you're single, right? Like, you know, all your private messages. Like, I don't want my mom knowing my private life of all the women I've ever talked to throughout life, right? You know, because, you know, you just never know, right? So I'm like, okay, lockdown, right? You know, I'm single. What do you want? You know what I mean? Don't get into my account, right? But, you know, vice versa. My point is this. Some people are going to have some information coming out, especially celebrity, because they didn't put their stuff on lockdown. And there is a way to do it. Just look it up. It's on Facebook. Look up how to turn it into a account when you die, because if it happens, they still have access to your profile, but they don't have access to your messages. And you kind of sometimes, look, here's how I could see it going wrong. When you date and then you marry, right? But now you're married. Now your husband, who you love dearly because, you know, he's your husband, goes into your account, wants to post about your upcoming funeral, but he kind of goes a little bit further in time and sees all the messages you gave to other guys, right? You see where I'm going with this, Jesse? And then throughout a couple days, he's like, I was just one of many. Now, not thinking the same, he himself has the same problem. And if he passes, the kids see basically him talking to all the other girls when he was single. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, like I said, delete your messages. Don't keep them. Find a way to put them on like a timer or something, and don't be a manho. Is that what you're trying to get at? I'm not quite sure.
I'm just saying anything that you write to anyone at any given time, like, hey, hot, or hey, sexy, or hey, anything can be tracked and will be tracked. That's why I say, look, when I was married, and I was 100% honest. And I said, here's my passwords. I don't care. And I left everything up. But, you know, I don't know if, like, you know, they went ahead and, like, looked through my other messages in the past. But, you know, I would just know it's the past, right? And that's what married couples do that are married. Share your passwords and just let them know, hey, that was my life, but it's not my life anymore. Or delete your stuff and just don't visit it again. You know what I mean? Because, you know, creepy crawlers actually follow people, exes. You know what I mean? And then they message and, you know, they send you a message of, I just want to get this off my chest. The ex, or not ex, but they want to be an ex by that point. The married person sees it, go, oh, I see. Wow, behind my back. You know, so My point is this: be honest, people, because this stuff is coming out like left, right, and center, and people are not talking about it. But trust me, you're gonna. And now people are like, I want to see my parents' stuff, right? Like, your parents going, no, right? So, exactly. I want you to think of me as good. So, the problems of the internet, right? So, I guarantee it's going to be a situation. We're talking about it first. So, yeah, there you go. That's what you do. Rosalie says, nobody knows my password. LOL. They will find it. All right, people, make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. And remember, have fun out there, but be safe when you do so. And before we go, Jesse, just a quick little question. What is there to watch?
Oh, actually, there's quite a bit of stuff to watch. If you have Disney Plus, you can watch the new series that come out, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, good show.
I love it. It's just like it takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and he's not the same person as he was before. There's also another show that came out last night. If you have Amazon Prime and like violent stuff. Not for the children. God, no, this is not for the children. It's called The Boys.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It is a great show. I just watched the first episode of the 3rd season last night, and let's just say within the first 12 minutes, there's not many shows that can like drop my jaw and be like, did they just do that? This show does that.
And by the way, thank you for sharing that. Rosalie, before we go, says Stranger Things, Netflix. Good job, Rosalie. Thank you for reminding us. We got more after this show, including Dr. Hara. She's coming up next here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. All right, I'm back. Okay, we got our radio audience, where they got to go. And again, if you want to follow all the great stuff going on, there is a pretty good show after ours as well, including Dr. Hara, who's got a lot of questions for the audience and a lot of answers as well. All you got to do is follow our links and find the number and then call that number and ask her questions about your life. You never know what she's going to come up with. All right. But in other news, okay, as I said, there is a situation just happening around the corner. Okay, it is called pox. Okay, pox is starting to be talked about a lot more, but I don't want you to forget about the virus, right? Is bad, is horrible, and is all bad when it's all bad. And there's so many new versions of it, okay? Now, I don't like calling them variants because people don't understand that, but treat them separately, okay? Because in the next few months, we're going to have probably the biggest outbreak ever because people are just not doing what I wanted to say on the show, mask up anyway. There's a lot of people that aren't masking. They're being very, I would say, not cautious. And kind of like, well, it's not a thing anymore because we don't have to wear a mask. Even though you don't have to wear a mask, it doesn't mean that, how do I say this? It doesn't mean that you okay, it's like this. Going to the hospital and saying nobody's sick and I'm not going to get sick from anybody that has a disease that may give it to me, right? Especially something that is airborne. Because if it's airborne, you can breathe it in. Okay, that's why we wear masks. Okay, and even though you see people not wearing a mask, don't get into that whole mindset of like, back in the day when you were in high school, you want to be the cool kid in class, right? You don't want to be you get where I'm going with that? Be the smart kid in the class, but still be cool, just wear shades. Okay, it's just, you know what I mean? Just be like, yeah, what's up? You know what I mean? Just do it anyway, because we're not ahead of it. Okay, we're just not. You got to remember that, with pox coming, and there's more cases kind of coming out about that, you don't want to be the one with pox. Pox is bad. And I know it's new. It's not a situation yet, but they're trying to prevent it from being a situation. Because honestly, pox, like the way they have it, is, let's put it this way. In Africa, it's a thing. Okay, they're pretty much used to it. So they would be like, but here it's kind of not a thing. Does that make sense? So because it's coming to the U.S. and because it's already here, I'll give you an example. Here's a article right here. posted by Ronoki, which is a cool name. I think that's awesome. It's kind of reminding me of that show. Do you remember that, where they had like a little crossbreed, little what were they, like little animals? Ronoki, remember that? You know? Okay, whatever. Feel old, all right. Monkeypox outbreak continues to grow in countries where the virus isn't normally found, putting global health officials on high alert. This is the second time I heard high. Now, with more than 643 cases of monkeypox in dozens of countries with the virus is a thing, the sudden appearance of monkeypox in many countries suggests there may have been undetected transmission for some time. That's according to the World Health Organization Director General Tedros. Not gonna lie, that's a very difficult last name. Ghebreyesus. The virus has been circulating for decades in some places, including parts of West and Central Africa. And early research, scientists at the Institute of Evolutionary Biology at the University of Edinburgh described how the genetic pattern they're seeing suggests there has been sustained human-to-human transmission since 2017. In that research, genetic sequences showed that the first monkeypox cases in 2022 appear to have descended from an outbreak that resulted in Singapore, Israel, Nigeria, and the UK from anywhere from 2017 to 2019. Michael Warby, who's a biologist and professor at the University of Arizona, that's here locally, was not involved in the research, but suggests that the outbreak has been going on for a long time locally. But he says the world has failed to protect those in limited areas where it's been a thing, and to control it before it spreads even worse throughout the nation and, of course, globally. So what is going on in the next few months? Well, when you have pox and you have the virus of coronavirus, 1, 2, or 3, you're going to have a situation, all right? If they mix, and they will, it's just a matter of time, they get worse, okay? Then we have another outbreak, and another one, and another one, and you have boils on the skin, and you have things you're not going to want to show others because you're just going to be like, oh, shoot. So I say this, if you are in the dating world, be safe, okay? Know that if you see an outbreak in your partner, get medical attention, okay? You're gonna need to just know this, okay? It's gonna be a thing. It's probably gonna start in the legs, probably the knees, just below the knees, and then possibly on the arms, okay? It'll look like a bumps at first. It'll look not as noticeable in the first few days, but then all of a sudden they become like blisters, and then they start popping. And when they start popping, that's really bad, because any of the stuff that when they pop, they kind of leave a trace of themselves wherever they're at. And then, like, if you sit where they're at and you rub up against it, guess what? Pox is in your body. It's very fast. It spreads very fast. That is the problem that nobody's talking about, that of how quick and fast it can spread. Okay, it is bad. All right. Now, do we have vaccines for it? Oh, well, they're working on them, okay? The answer is, because it tends to mutate or become more advanced every single time, you have to create a new vaccine. The old vaccines don't work anymore, okay? The new vaccines that are coming up probably in about a year's time will more than not work. But don't even get it, okay? It's not worth it, okay? Because it stays in your body for years, okay? Will it kill you at the onset? No. All right, but if it mutates with 3, 4, 5, and 6, it's going to be a bad problem for people that already have a problem in their bodies. So if you had, let's put it this way. Okay, I already have talked to several people that have said, I had coronavirus once. Okay, I've talked to others that have said, I've had it twice. And I've talked to others that have said, I've had it 3 times. Okay, if you have it more than 4 to maybe 8 times, your body has a way of just kind of breaking it down in a way. It doesn't break it down anymore. It just gets worse and worse and worse, because you're already trying to get over the 3rd version of the virus when you got it. So I know a lot of people that have gotten the virus in January, February, and March, which are suffering right now because they're like, how come I'm not feeling better? And they're calling it long haul COVID, but they're kind of like they don't go out much. They kind of post rarely on social media, but they basically feel out of it, and they don't want to say anything, but they feel like tired. They feel brain fog. They feel like, oh, I can't concentrate, and they feel really miserable. Okay, so check in on those people. Okay, make sure that they're happy. Get them some sun. They need sun, and they need interaction. Okay, if you feel, sometimes people go, I feel like I should, like sometimes people come into your mind. You go, I wonder how they're doing. Go check in on them. Just say hi. Do so safely from a distance, but check in on them, and then see if They're all right, because sometimes people don't post social media because they don't want you to see how bad they're doing, okay? I do have a friend, which I got to check in on, because she's just, been a long time friend, her and her husband, and, I want to make sure she's fine, but she got in January, and honestly, when I saw her just less than, like, a few weeks ago, not gonna lie, she looked like she aged like 30 years. I didn't tell her that. I know she doesn't watch the show, thank God. But my point is this. I'm like, yeah, all right, just, take it easy. But, yeah, when you get that sense, all right, you don't want it to be your last time to speak to that person. And so I'm like, no, I got to see you again, you and your husband. But my point is this, be ahead of it, all right? Now, today I'm going to go see my sister, okay? Perfect example. She's in a home, right? Everybody knows. I'll probably post, something on my social media about her. But, she's had a really tough time ever since coronavirus alpha, okay? She was in the hospital in 2020. That's why I always say, I'm the first one to say spread the right news and news that is important to save people's lives. Okay, now thankfully she got ahead of it, but she needed a blood transfusion, and my family did not want to give her a blood transfusion. And we went through another family friend, and he gave us advice on a particular thing that helps the platelets, because she was really suffering. And it actually increased her platelets, so much so, they didn't call it a miracle, but they should have, because she was almost like, they were like, she's going to bleed out. And I'm like, all right, but you got to try this first, because my family does not want blood transfusion. And for some families, they just don't want it. So we did it. It's called end plates. Okay, it's available. It's a little pricey. It's about $2,000. But again, for a hospital stay, that's pretty much a day at the hospital, which is why I say don't be at the hospital. Okay, especially if you have no insurance. Okay, a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes people die because they have no insurance. They don't want to pay the bill. All right. Would I rather pay the bill? Yeah, because you can negotiate the bill. All right. That's what you don't know. You can negotiate the bill, or you can claim bankruptcy. But it's better than losing your life. Okay, so just remember that if you don't have any insurance, okay, it's better than losing your life. And some people don't understand, just it is what it is. Don't pay it down. Pay yourself first, right? And I know debt, but have your family, because you don't need to die. Okay, there's a lot of cases that can be saved because the medical community is more ahead than not, because they've been dealing with the virus left, right, and center. But you got to know which one it is, okay? So when you get tested, don't take it for what it is when they say, oh, you have coronavirus. Say, which version is it? Okay, and then they'll give you the number. You say, again, which version is it? Okay, then do your research and realize that each one is different. Don't take it like, oh, it might be or it might be Delta, or it might be Alpha, or it might be... Nobody's even thinking like that anymore. And you need to, especially ahead. Okay, now back to pox. If pox is in your body, make sure you don't get okay, number one. Because some people are going to get the pox, and they're not going to want it. And when they get it, they're going to be like, oh, God, I feel horrible. But you're going to feel worse if you get Okay, that's the warning. That's what I'm going to say right here, right now. I hope some of you are listening. Just don't get all right? Be safe. There's very few products that help you with the itchy part of it. And when you're itchy, it is no fun, because they say don't touch them, because they blister and then they pop and then they basically scar for life. Okay, and if that happens on your face, this is my point. Bandage it up so it doesn't spread to the other areas. And you got to do so daily, okay? You got to. And it would be best to irrigate, okay? I'm not going to lie. There's some therapies that you would need to do research on. Some would say, oh, you can't do that yet. And I'm saying, whatever. You got to, clean the wound, and you got to just bandage it. So, those, little ones, I used to invest in them. I probably should invest in them if anybody gets sick. But, again, you just bandage the area if you start popping up in that area. And that's how you stop the spread all throughout your body, because it spreads very fast. People think, no, I don't want to get that word out there, but okay. I have to preface it by saying this. Some people, when they think pox, they think monkeypox, oh God. And then they think cowpox, oh my God, never heard of that. And then they think chickenpox, they go, oh, it's not that bad. I had chickenpox, easy breezy. Chickenpox is mild, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, chickenpox is like a 1. Monkeypox is like a 8, okay? And any other pox is like a 20, okay? Don't get pox, all right? Remember that. Let's see. Having said that, know that if you get pox, you want to get medical attention right away, okay? Report it, okay? Don't worry about the embarrassment of the way it looks. Get the treatment so that you can get ahead of it and irrigate it daily. Okay, and we'll share some stuff that comes up around the corner on how to do that, hopefully. But again, you gotta clean it daily, okay, because otherwise it will spread to the other areas, and you do not want it to spread to your face because it will scar you for life. Okay, and that's how it actually populates. Okay, I'm getting itchy just thinking about it. But my point is this. Okay, so be careful in the next few months because pox is here. Okay, we already have confirmed cases in Northern California, but it's just a matter of time when it gets here to Southern California. When it gets to Southern California, people are gonna be like, all right, but the news outlets are going to be like, it's not a thing to worry about, because they don't want panic. Okay, that's kind of the situation, and Trump alluded to it when he said, I didn't want people to panic. That's kind of basically what he was trying to say when he came up about coronavirus. But people are like, why didn't you put it in lockdown early? He's like, well, I thought we could get ahead of it, is I think what he wanted to say. But at the end of the day, we're not ahead of it. They thought maybe they would be worse, and technically it's not as bad as it would have been if no lockdowns had existed, back to where we're at today. If we go into lockdown, I think we'll go into lockdown in certain areas, but not all areas. I think they're ahead of that. They're like, okay, all areas doesn't make sense. We learn from that, I hope, because not every place has a breakout, okay? And that's why I think people got really mad in 2020, because basically the whole nation was in lockdown mode. But I always say do it regionally. That's what actually China does. All right, they do it regionally, and they did quarantine certain cities. If you're in a block radius of a certain breakout, they put it on lockdown right away for a good 2 to 3 weeks. Now, did people die along the way? Yeah, they did, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been if they didn't do anything at all. Now, is that difficult to do? Yes, it's very difficult to do. So they do it now by major cities, because that's why Beijing is still in the lockdown. Did they release that? I know Singapore, is they still like that? I don't know. But my point is this. If those cities stay in a lockdown, then we're all going to suffer, because that's where technology is made. When it says made in China, Beijing. Okay, just think Beijing. That's why technology is going to go up in price. That's why I said a few weeks ago, get a television while you can. We had a television breakdown, and I went ahead and invested, and I counted the cost, not going to lie, back to budget, because I want to make sure, we're not suffering. But I looked at the budget. I said, all right, this is an investment long term. The other one went bye-bye. Granted, it was a gift, but, it was $340 some, including the warranty, for a big screen television for my mom, right? She watches it more than I do. But I want her to stay safe, because I want her not to get the virus. I don't want her to get the pox. I don't want her to get coronavirus. I don't want her to get I don't want to get any of that, right? So I give her the ability to stay safe, right? But we went out a few days ago because, we went out in the sunlight. We, did what we need to do for the dog recently, and we took care of business, right? But we wore face masks, okay? We didn't and she noted it because we went to the mall really quick. And, even though we had a good meal, she was looking around. She goes, how come nobody's wearing face masks? And every now and then you see somebody wearing face masks. But again, she has pre-diabetes. Now, did she have diabetes? She did. But she was able to kind of regulate it, eat well, and do everything that actually we talked about to kind of level it off to where even the doctor's like, oh, wow, didn't know, you could do that. It's like, yeah. So I'm hoping within the next few months she'll be no more diabetes, because oddly enough, you actually can get your numbers down with your blood sugars to no diabetes at all. People don't think it's possible, but it is. You just have to be very stringent on what you eat, what you do with your sugar, and then your body starts normalizing along the way. So hopefully that'll be a thing. We have a goal of about November to be no diabetes at all. If she can attain that, then I know she'll be ahead of it. I know she's been pre-diabetic before, because there's a way to be diabetic and then eat right and then go back to pre-diabetic. It's just called a blood test, and then they show the numbers of when you have diabetes and when you don't. So it's interesting. Not saying that, again, if you have a history of diabetes, you're more prone to it, which is why you need to watch your sugar, right? But if you put a lot of greens in your body and a lot of other good nutrients, and you stay away from other things that would peak it, then your body starts to normalize over time. So she's at a good, healthy weight. She was able to lose, I think, 30 pounds, not going to lie. Big shout out to Ma for doing that. But, we share a lot of stuff on the show, but she listens. She goes, okay, I need to do that. Okay, so, she's blessed for having, listened to her mind to say, I need to listen to good news, not bad news, because she hears all the dumb news out there. And sometimes we talk about the dumb news, and it's like, oh, they're minimizing this, and that. They're minimizing that, but that's going to be a thing in a few months. That's going to be a thing in a few months, and that's going to be a thing in a few months. So, or that's going to be a few things in a few years if we don't get ahead of it. So, my point is this: just be aware these things happen. But if we listen to I'll just say this. When we have a cure, you'll hear it, okay? There is no one saying there's a cure for the virus. And because it mutates, and we have so many different versions of it, and just because they name it, ooh, cool new names, like, people used to, you remember when people used to meditate? Remember that? Right? Now it kills you just to say it. No, I'm just kidding. But again, it's the virus. It's not the word, obviously. But my point is this: what people need to do is still wear a simple, okay? And don't wear those cloth ones, all right? Those things are really bad because it's like wearing your T-shirt, okay? And we've shared this so many times. And recently it was brought to my attention. It was like, aren't those like bad to sell? Like, oh, yeah, they are actually. But wear these, okay? I get the other ones are fashionable. They look cute and all that. But wear, this, okay? And N95, and granted, this is hospital grade, okay? And I got a whole package of these gifted to us because we covered it in an event. But invest in these, okay? And then get a scrubber. A UV box. Okay, I always promise I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys another time. But it's a UV, and you've probably seen these at some of the stores. They do it for a cell phone. I don't know. Cell phone's dumb because it only does your cell phone. But you could do your cell phone. You could do your glasses. You could do an article of clothing. You just put it in like a Ziploc. Not a Ziploc. What am I thinking? Like a zip bag, and then it has UV in it. You push the button, and boom, it sterilizes everything in it. Usually for 3 minutes. I say do it 3 times at this point because there's so many things. But that's how you reuse things that aren't a problem. And you just keep it at the entryway and just put it in, disinfect it, you're good to go. That's how I reuse masks again and again and again. And so far, thank God, my mom has not been sick, and I have not been sick. Back to my sister. My sister has been sick, but she's at a adult home, so I don't know who goes in, goes out, and I don't know what they do throughout the day. But in order for us to visit now, they are saying you have to take a test of coronavirus tests. So we did the self-testing thing. My mom and I did it 2 days ago because that's what they need. They need proof that you don't have the virus. So we took the test. We took a picture of it with ourselves, or she took it with her license, and then it's just like, okay, we passed. We don't have the virus. Okay, so now I can see my sister, and and she'll be fine. But my point is this: in homes like adult homes and parent homes and like kid homes, if they're special needs like my sister, you need to hope that let's put it this way. My sister gets taken care of very well, but she's moved from home to home to home because of, honestly, stuff that she's kind of like, I was going to say it bluntly, she's special needs for a reason, all right? She doesn't know when you tell her, you got to be locked up in your room, which is what California was doing to the kids who are special needs. Now, do I appreciate that? No. Do I want to be ahead of that? Yes. Do I want us to be in that mode again if we go into lockdown? I don't think we're going to go to lockdown anytime soon. I really don't. I think even if we should, and people say that's a hot topic, I say not if you do it regionally. Take care of the metropolitan areas just for a few weeks. That's it. And then make sure government steps in and says, okay, we're going to take care of you for the next few weeks. We don't want it to be a horrible outbreak, because long term, when you get past the 2 million mark of people dead, that could have been prevented. Again, you got diabetes, you got other things, that are transmissible, like AIDS, right? That's still a thing. Those things can be prevented, okay? You just get the test and then, don't participate, and they have some treatments for some of that stuff, by the way. HIV, if you get HIV or AIDS, they have treatments now to where you can survive, and you just let your partner know, and then you just, manage it. Don't get it, though, okay? But if you have it, it's not a death sentence anymore, as it used to be, right? But the virus of coronavirus is more a death sentence for people that, again, get it more than 3 times. There was a report recently that, why are people that are vaccinated getting again and again and again? Because, like I say, it mutates. What part of that did you guys not understand? All right. Do you still get a cold? Yes. Do you still get the flu? Yes. Do you get ahead of it ever? No. It mutates. The cold is not what it was in, the early 1900s. Okay, it's mutated. That's why you get it again and again and again. Other people are like, I get a cold, but it's gone in a day, right? But they keep their immunity up. The problem with the virus is it doesn't matter what your immunity is. Now, if you already have a problem like diabetes or, a host of other things you don't even know your body has, it's the one that says, hello, pay attention to your body, and bye-bye, right? And that's the problem, okay? Little ones are getting sick and dying, right? But they're back at school like nothing happened. So, again, we're going into a 2020 pandemic again, and I think those of you listening need to be aware of it, okay? So just mask up, okay? I recommend it. I don't ever say the word mandate, because if you at least just, again, if you enter a room of a bunch of kids that are sick with the flu and they all have diarrhea and vomiting, do you want that? No, exactly. Wear a face mask, okay? Does that make sense? All right, I hope it makes sense. But anyway, be ahead of it, and then we'll do the right thing, okay? Let's see. Genius says, I'm stocking up on over-the-counter creams, itching creams, Listerine, and other topic ointments for comfort. Get now while on shelves. Actually, it's not a bad idea. I won't say that again, because I think when we said that, like, they have like toilet paper up the wazoo, and everybody's like, why was everybody getting a bunch of toilet paper? But I will say this. There are some stuff that's good for the skin already. Aloe vera is a very good skin top of it. It's even good if you have a burn. Okay, just rub that on, and your body will thank you for that. Okay, if you're gonna stock up anything, stock up an aloe vera. That's like just awesome stuff. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Rosalie says, I have all those symptoms, tired, depressed, no energy, but I think it's just me. Fortunately, I haven't gotten COVID. Okay, and sometimes people say that, but I say if you got tested during it, sometimes you haven't, you don't even know it, right? Because you got alpha, right? Some get beta, they don't even know it. But we're kind of ahead of alpha because of the vaccines. That's why. So, but it doesn't mean it's not in your body still. That's what people don't understand. Just like any of the pox. So once it's in your body, it's in your body. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to go back to this. Patricia Henry says this. My niece graduated from pharmacy school. Yeah, we're celebrating her accomplishments with her friends and family dinner tomorrow. I did post a pharmacy in the city of, well, we'll say in Orange County. If you're in the area, support. And they're really good family that, they have some other cool stuff we're going to be talking about in the days ahead. But they were telling me, again, they have only so many vaccines because they order only so many. That's why they take appointment only. That way they know how many to have on hand because they don't want them to expire. All right. They don't have the facilities to be able to freeze them. So they say, hey, just, let us know when you're going to come in. Or if you go in and you're shopping, well, I'll repost it so you guys can see it. Okay, that way you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then you can get your pharmaceuticals from there. Especially if you're in Orange County. If you're in another state, then don't pay attention. But again, go to the trusted pharmacy because some of them treat you like your cattle, right? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, I don't need you. So go to somewhere where they love you and they know you and they call you by name sometimes. Okay, let's see. And not the one where they look you up and then they say your name, right? So, my mom likes CBS for that reason because they actually know her. Okay, let's see. All right, and big shout out to Rosalie. Stephanie Ree. Stephanie says, hello, happy editing and on-set between product photography and commercial shoot for this glorious sunshine awesomeness busy day I had today. I love that. You know what? We're going to end on that note because that's exactly how we want it. No matter what the warnings are, we got to stay alive, we got to be alive, and we got to be alive together and have fun all the way through, okay? So with that, make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, have fun doing it. And remember, there's some good stuff to watch on online and or on your streaming device or your television device. All right, people? Make it a great day. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.